into current events, all those type of things, and what it is. What are her thoughts on that? So, without further ado, I want to welcome Fundi Fee. How are
Peace.
you?
I'm
Peace.
good, love. How are you?
Right. So, we kind of left off like kind of discussing a lot of different things. The main thing I wanted to just kind of like get an idea of is, you know, current events. Trump is now in office. What do you think about that?
The chickens will come home to roost.
So, go further. Go into it.
What's different? What's different? What's going to be different for the bottom of the barrel? Nothing. But I hope that we as a people now understand what we're up against. The, who, I mean, America voted for its own inflation because the average American doesn't even understand what a tariff is or how it's paid. Who do we blame for that? The American school system, who should have taught that very well in civics class, but then again, you can't make somebody learn, or the people who voted for it that woke up and realized, oh my goodness, I don't get my Christmas bonus because now my company has to stockpile products before the beginning of the year so we don't get hit with a what? A tariff. Because who pays the tariff? The people who pay for the product, the country it's being shipped to, the people who buy it in that country. So, since American manufacturing went to crap in a handbasket between the 80s and the 90s, maybe there'll be more American jobs. Maybe there'll be more made in America. Because I remember that as a kid. Made in America. We were proud of that. Now
That
what's
was the
made?
whole thing. I remember that. I remember that Made in America stamp. Made in America. So, what do you think when it comes down to, you have, Ukraine going on, you have like the war in Israel, and you being a Muslim woman, what do you think is really happening in this situation, and what do you think America's position is going to be, and how it's going to affect with this new president?
We'll see. Well, the one thing that we don't have as a people is a plan. These people have been planning for hundreds. They stopped us from planning so they could plan. So, what? I got an exit strategy. Do you have an exit strategy? When things get thick, can you get out of here and still be able to live? I'm not gonna get stuck behind. No, I'm not gonna get stuck behind enemy lines. I got a passport.
So there was the first time that we had a female uh, person of color running for president. So what did you think about her run and the whole thing that you see a lot of like black people like kind of coming after her ethnic identity? What do you think about that?
All skin folk ain't kinfolk. That's what my mama would say.
So do
All
you
skin
agree
folk,
with the people that were coming after her?
not necessarily. I agree with what her record has shown me. I mean, this is a woman that helped make the laws that we are now under the rule of. She helped prosecute and make these laws. And now she's in a position, she's a vice president. She's over now the people who make these laws. She runs that particular house. And everything that she could have run on, she could have done while she was in office. kinfolk ain't our skinfolk ain't kinfolk. She don't work for us. When? Hmm.
What about from a female perspective? Do you think that it's wrong to like go against another woman when it comes down to like stuff like that? Should we all be just all teaming together no matter what?
Again, my decision making is not so low that the denominator on whether you get my vote has to do with your genitalia. It would have to do with your ability. And I don't pick between two evils.
Mm.
She doesn't
So
have the ability. If she had the ability, she would have done it, or at least persuaded her president to do it. But what have we gotten? We still don't have a hate crime bill.
what do you think about reparations? Do you think that we deserve reparations at this point?
We deserve what we demand.
What about the FBA movement? Do you agree with that movement?
I don't even know what that movement is.
The foundational Black American, that's the movement that Tariq Nasheed started up. There was the ADOS movement, then the FBA movement. So, but if
Does
you
it
never
get
heard of,
Did
if
it
you,
get any results?
nah, nah.
No. Okay.
I mean, he was able to get people to vote for Trump. I'm not, well, that's one thing he was able to do is get everybody to not vote for Kamala. So that's one thing I'll say. He was able to like be very vigilant in having people not vote for her.
That's
So
great.
yeah, go ahead.
That's great for his agency. Wonderful.
All right. So again, so we have a going on in Israel. Did you want to expound on that before I like continue?
Wars, war all around the world, the same song. I mean, on on one hand, we are giving away the we're giving one side the ability to make big booms, and on the other side, we're giving money for humanitarianism.
Yeah, they right. So it's
So
like they're like what is that about? Right.
doing what the Rockefellers have always done. You play both sides of the game. It's the only way to win. It's the only way to truly win a game of chess. Any true game of war, you want to guarantee a win, you play both sides.
So what do you think about the new laws that are happening in Saudi Arabia that are like really kind of pushing women and the Sharia law, that are saying that, women have to be subdued. They have to wear this, hijab that's like black, like you look through like a filter. What do you think about that law?
I don't live there, so I don't even know what that protects them from. If it, at thinking about it from a defensive point of view, we don't even know what that protects those women from, because we know here in America that when the eye of a man drops on you, innocence is lost.
Mm. So, say if Sharia law were to be like in America, would you be cool with that? Would you agree with that?
No, I'm not going for that. Absolutely not. Mm-mm. I would not go along just not to go along. I would come out of I would burn my raps on purpose.
Right, but that they were actually throwing battery acid on women that were showing them their faces.
Okay. Again, When we make decisions, there are rewards and there are consequences. If you want to live the way you want to live, you reap the rewards and the consequences of that. If I want my choice, I have to reap the social reward and or the social benefit of that. And if it all comes down to violence, right? Battery acid would be considered violent, right? Then I would have to learn how to protect myself in that violence. And since I have, I'm not saying I'm faster than battery acid, but I do know that I'm aware enough of my surroundings that, you know, I might be able to catch that before it happens. But again, that's situational awareness.
Right. So where do you find the Muslim woman in American culture?
She's everywhere, cased and uncased, doing her thing. I mean, whatever her thing is, we're all over the place.
Do most of them are they mostly covered, or like is that like a reason? Is there like, okay, you could be covered in America but not in other places?
Again, I believe that the covering is voluntary to the woman. Um, and after that little thing that happened in New York when two, you remember that? It became very dangerous in America to be a cased, and when I say cased, I mean a covered Islamic woman. I was in Michigan when there was that backlash, and this sister, they wouldn't allow Muslim sisters on public transportation without taking off their face coverings.
Mm. So did you experience a lot of stuff like when that happened? That whole
No,
situation?
I didn't. And I didn't because I can read the social atmosphere. And Allah knows my heart. Again, cased or uncased, I'm always covered, cased or uncased. And for the code, when I say cased or uncased, I mean covered or uncovered. I
So
mean,
do you have to wear an actual like hijab to be covered, or can you just wear a hat, or what are the different aspects of being considered covered?
it depends on if you're talking, are you talking physically or has it gone to metaphysically?
Physically, like coming out in the public, what's considered
Physically,
public?
anything covering your head, anything covering your chakra, whatever, whatever. It could be a handkerchief. I remember when the old sisters in the church with safety pin handkerchiefs on top of their head. Anything covering, any covering. It doesn't have to be this elaborate. Here we go. Covered.
So
Doesn't-
it's not like a matter of you having to like be able to be covered a certain way. It's just more like just cover that part of the head. Why is that part of the head important?
Again, that is where you connect to the other ether. That's that 13th chakra. It's that connection. And that the what do y'all call it? The ori,
Yeah.
the reading of the head, right? There is a covenant that take a covenant, a covering that takes place when one protects their energy, their chi, their shin, their spirit. It's mine. It's a covenant between me and mine. Now, do I have to cover it? No, But there are benefit, metaphysical and physical, to covering the hair or the ori or the 13th chakra.
What are
There,
the benefit? What are the benefits?
I found I found in particular that in covering my head, even in social settings, people interact with me very much differently than if my hair is showing. And there's a certain amount of respect across the board when there is and I can only come from a female standpoint because I've always only been a woman. There's an amount of sexual tension that is taken out of the social relationship when heads are covered. I'll say it that way. Not just for females, but for males as well. There's an amount of humbling that goes with that. Take your shoes off in my house, but you can leave your hat on. Where did she go?
So, do you feel like you're respected even more, like though, like if you go into like a store where people open the door more for you and things like that?
Yes.
Well, I noticed
Yeah.
that too. As a person that practices EFI, I always have to have my hair covered. And
Mhm.
also, is there like a certain color that you should wear? Because from an EFI standpoint, you're not ever supposed to wear black on your head. Now, I notice a lot of like people in Islam with these black clothes and black like outfits on, black head coverings, and to me, like uh from an EFI standpoint, like you're not ever supposed to like really like use black because it's a absorption. Black absorbs energy and white repels it. So why do you think that they're allowing their women to wear a black sheet or cover hijab or what's it called, a niqab, whatever it is, over their head?
Well, that has to do with identification of the different tribes.
Mm.
Different tribes show up in different colors. It's We can tie it right back to Ifa, right? If somebody wearing red and black showed up, where do they fit in Ifa?
Uh, red and black, that's a issue.
Somebody show up in all white.
Obatala.
Somebody show up in light blues to whites. Well, blues to whites.
Yamaya.
See what I'm saying?
So is that there is like a tribe that's black in Islam? Can you explain what that is?
It's not necessarily a tribe that's black, but it's a cultural difference. Because remember, you had a picture of some women that were in the pastels. That's a whole nother tribe versus the ones that are in the all black. Very regional. Yeah, very regional. And if you went to Africa, they're very colorful, very regional. Mhm. No difference. Just reason. Just regional. That's all.
So why do you think that region was safe to work? Okay, because they're in hot. It's Saudi Arabia. It's hot. Okay, desert.
Yeah.
So that black is absorbing through that material, and like the sun is just beating down on it. I mean, why would they want their women to be just sitting underneath something like this with all black on, where the sun is just like beating down into that? Is there like a purpose for that, or do you think they know any metaphysical aspect of that, or do you think it's just about like no, we just don't want the women to be like whatever?
No, there is a purpose for it, and you'd be amazed how cool it is under there. I've worn hijab. Y'all would. think that it is hot under there. But once you put it on, you have the heat of the sun beating down on you. You get that first sweat going. Now, now that you have this difference in temperature, about 10, 15 degrees between the shade that's under you and this sweat that's between the clothes that the light clothes that you have under that, it becomes rather cool under
Oh,
that garment. And
so
they're
they're,
in the
they're-
desert.
so they're not like burning up hot underneath that thing. Like, oh Lord, oh,
Not only aren't they burning up hot, but their skin is being protected from that radiant sun. And not just protected coming down, but also protected bouncing back up off the ground.
mm.
That's a whole nother kind of heat.
So do you think that's like more for the Caucasian Arab, or because you have like African Arabs? I don't really see them with that black thing, or maybe they are. I don't know. So do you think it's only for the ones that are like kind of like Turkish, or like kind of like that
It's
Saudi where they're
regional.
light skin?
It's regional. Because when you go to Africa, they're very the outfit is very colorful. Some
Right.
of them do have the basic black outfits, yes, but that comes from travel. That comes from travel.
So here's a question. So female genital mutilation, is that a part of Islam?
In still some places, yes, especially in Africa.
So explain
Unfortunately,
why was that even like brought into the society?
it was brought into the society to control female sexual urge. Because if a man has more than three wives, the sexual gratification that he is going to have to go through is going to be exhausting. So, as a remnant of sexual control of the female, especially when it comes to the African female and her so called prototype of being hypersexual, let them tell it, it became a ritual to mutilate her genitals, to take
The
a woman,
sensation.
yes, yes, to take the sensation. I mean, if she doesn't have the sensation, if she doesn't understand what, okay, let's be honest. There are, I believe, 24, I could be wrong, but I believe it's 24 nerve endings all in less than 1 inch of 1 inch in that part of the human anatomy, especially on a female. Yeah, that's got to go.
Do you agree with that?
No, I'm good. I didn't mutilate my sons because what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
So do you think that circumcision is actually like male mutilation?
Yes. I
Why would
think
you
it
say
goes hand
why would
in
you
hand.
say why would you say that male because they know like in Hebrew they're like saying that this is like a law, like it's a part of like the law to do this. So why do you think that why would you say that is?
It's their law. That's how their tribe marks themselves. I don't have to agree with it.
Where why do you think that so do you think it's a matter so what do you think that they're missing out on when they do that circumcision? Like do you think it's an issue of
I think they're miss
pleasure?
I think they're missing out on pleasure. And not just pleasure, length, girth. Some men still remember that procedure. Some men are still traumatized by that procedure, even if it happened. Can you imagine it happening at 13?
Wow.
Good.
And
Not
when you actually go into some Jewish tribes, they like actually have to suck the penis of the baby to remove the blood and everything. This is weird. So
See,
yeah.
if I'm not for female genital mutilation, I wouldn't be for male genitalia mutilation. And I didn't put my sons through it like I wouldn't put my daughters through it.
Hmm. So when it comes down to like how Islam reveres like women like virgins and certain age groups and things like that, what do you believe about that? Like, cause I've heard that you would pass on and like get a certain amount of virgins if you did a certain thing. All types of different like misinterpretations of what that religion is speaking of. Let's talk about that.
Um, Again, the okay, let me be honest. I don't do good for the sake of 72 virgins. I do good for the sake of doing good. I wouldn't know what to do with 72 virgins. I'm good. I mean, can I be me right quick? Can I be me? Y'all want me to? I want
I've
to
been
be
waiting
me.
on you to be me. But
I
come
want to be,
on, I've been waiting on.
I
Come
want to
on
be
now.
me. If for my good, and this is completely hypothetical, if for my good, Allah offered me 72 virgins, I would turn them in for one experienced man. Thank you. I ain't got time for all this teaching. I ain't absolutely
So is the 72 virgins thing for women and men, or is it just only for men?
I don't know. That's just how absolutely ludicrous I thought the whole thing was to begin with. Like when they told me that to go to Jannah, your husband has to consult with Allah. And if your husband says you can't get into Jannah, you don't get into Jannah. That's when I was like, you know what? It's time for me to go. It's time for me to find something else because this ain't it. This can't be it. This ain't it. I didn't read that in the Quran. This, what? Another human gets to say if I'm going to go? No, y'all can have this part. I'm good.
So have you ever went to Mecca and taken your no?
No, ma'am. And the reason I have not gone to Mecca, and that's just a whole nother thing with me, even having a husband and two sons that would actually write me the letter to go, I refuse to go to Mecca if me as a woman has to get my husband and one of my sons written permission to go. Absolutely not. No. Mm-mm. I should be just as welcomed in Mecca as any man taking his Hajj, since Hajj is incumbent upon every Muslim who can afford it. That's what I was taught. Not afford it and get your husband's permission and get your son's written permission, and then you got to get our permission. That's not what Allah wrote. So no, no, they can have Mecca too.
All right. So explain what Hajj is.
Hajj is the Islamic spiritual journey to Mecca, where you follow the Prophet Muhammad in his footsteps. You do some rotations around the Kaaba. If you can get close enough, you kiss the Kaaba, and you go home. But in order to do Hajj, you do have to have paid all of your bills up, do not have any debt, because you cannot think on the things that Hajj will bring you if you are not square in your life to do that. Let me put that there.
So what is the Kaaba and why would they kiss the Kaaba?
The Kaaba is. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. What is it?
The Kaaba is a building that uh, is erected over in the Middle East. To put it bluntly, it is a holy place for the Muslim. There is a meteorite that they have placed in the black square. And again, if you can get close enough, you're supposed to kiss it. Some people would say that it is shaped like a vagina, and some people do equate it as such. So when the Muslim says there's no such thing as the divine feminine, that's where I have to ask you, sir, on that cube, what's that?
So yeah, so they have to like kiss this Kaaba, and then they walk around it in circles during a certain time. Um, Meteorite, right? So I've heard stories about even in Islam, that if you say the 100 names of Allah, that some people have seen what they would call UFOs. Have you heard this?
Yes.
So explain that. What is going on there?
What do you mean explain that? We're floating we're the third rock from a sun that has multiple planets on one side of an asteroid belt and the other side of another. We are traveling through a soup that we can't even calculate, but we're conscious enough to calculate it, or at least attempt to. And we want to believe that we're the only living species in this soup. That's non-productive. Our ancestors told us that there were people from inner and outer space. The Indian with the both the feather and the dot have legends of star people and fish people. I mean, even Ifa has a fish person, mer people. I mean, they're just finally telling the truth. This is what it is. I mean, all the species that we have here that have different types of life, why wouldn't there be other types? And the sad part is we way behind the eight ball. Because if they can get here and we can't get there, we
So,
might not
so
be the dominant species anymore.
well, why do you think it is that when you say the all the names of Allah, because we're gonna get into Angela Reddick's comment after I say this, why do you think it's that particular thing that is causing that like celestial phenomena?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
So why do you think that calling the names of all the names of Allah is causing that kind of UFO-ish celestial phenomena? Why do you think that is?
Resonance. Resonance. You can call anything if you know what sound and frequency it resonates on.
So do you think that people that are doing that know that they're calling like kind of UFOs, or do you think they're just like doing it and then they're showing up?
Those that know, and when you do it, you'll find out too. It's not that everybody that calls the 100 names of Allah is going to get UFO activity. It just doesn't happen like that. But if you practice, you could. I mean, when you look into the abyss starts looking back at you.
Hmm. So, sorry, Angela Reddick says, I think universally most men want to have total control over women. This is one reason why I never married. What is your thoughts on that?
Uh-oh. um, I'm not gonna tell her she's wrong because in our society that believes in domination, she is very correct. And the more women and children that you are dominated or domineering over, the more masculine you appear. Again, I have to say it, that is an emotional development problem. Once you come in to master yourself, you realize that anything beyond advice is manipulation.
Wow. Okay. Expound on that. Anything beyond advice is manipulation. Let's get into that.
Anything beyond advice is manipulation. Woman, this is what you should do. That's manipulation. One should always be given a choice. This is why we always talk about this conundrum between God and the devil. It's a choice, and everybody makes the choice, whether you want to do bad, good, or neutral. That is your choice. And again, you get the consequences and the rewards thereof. If there weren't women who didn't want to be dominated over, there would be more men who would literally have time enough to themselves to develop emotionally, so that, again, control of self is all. Once you have control of self, you realize that you control no thing. I don't control anything. And anything beyond advice is manipulation.
So, nowadays, speaking of manipulation, so you have this red pill and blue pill thing, that's being very prevalent on the internet. As a Muslim woman, a lot of men are saying that women need to submit. You need to submit yourself to your man. And then you have a lot of people that are like now becoming Hebrew Israelites and Islam and this, that, the other, and a woman needs to submit. What, when it comes down to Islam, what are the rules of submission?
That man and woman are supposed to submit one unto the other is exactly what it says. It's pretty self explanatory to me.
So why do you feel like that right now in this culture that it's being forced for women to submit? Is it because male wants to like overcome? Now we also know you as a Taoist, right? And you talked about yin and yang. Why do you feel that the men are trying to dominate over the women and trying to say this like, okay, women need to like submit. We don't want to hear nothing you gotta say. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how much you ain't got. I don't care if you got $100,000. Whatever. That ain't working. But woo. So it's almost like they're like trying to discourage women from being powerful. You know, men don't care about how much money you got. So it's like, oh, if you want to get a man, then you shouldn't make money because he don't care about that. What do you think about that?
I think all men care about money. Because according to their scale, the more you have, the more desirable you are. Let them tell you. That's one of those. It isn't how much he makes supposed to make him a high value man. So again, that logic gets thrown out of the window, completely out of the window. Um, it's every time I hear this high value man, high value woman thing, uh, what the values that they put on it are so freaking shallow. It's ridiculous. I have yet to hear the development of character
Right.
put
Right.
put on these values. And let's be quite honest. If we can be honest, the only reason men can actually impose these types of conditions on women, it comes down to violence. If I don't do this, he gonna whoop my, he's gonna yell. I'm gonna get sexually violated. Something's gonna happen to me if I don't. You know, the reason that just does not happen in my clan is because the women are just as capable of violence as the men. So there has to be a mutual respect that takes place between the two, because violence is not the answer either way, because no predator wants to get hurt. That's the bottom line. Predators feed on easy prey. If you are easy prey, you are going to get preyed on. That's what prey is for. The only way not to be prey is to train to be a predator, male or female. Oh, this goes against the laws of nature. Does it? Does it? Because the lioness hunts. Oh, this dude.
Yeah. So I was on his show recently, and it was crazy because, like, what he did was he cut it up to make it seem like I agreed with him. But I wanted to like get to the point where he said something, and you just mentioned it in a certain way, and I said, you know what that reminded me of what he said. So let me play what he this thing.
Because the conversation that I was having with the young lady was she thought that women are better leaders. And on the grand scheme of things, men have a natural proclivity to create. This is why the majority of inventions and creations have been created by men. 99% of them, women created, let's say, 1% or even probably less than 1% of all of the things that we're seeing and touching, right?
So when you talk in absolutes, when you say women don't create anything, well, we create life. Here's another thing. I would say this is
Well,
that
women don't create life.
well,
Oh, wait, actually, let me make you bigger. My bad. I didn't know you were small.
I would say this is that between the men and the women, we are the holders of life, and we are the givers of life, and then we are the nurturers of life. So to
Well,
say that we just don't create anything altogether, or we don't do anything, I believe it's because of like how society had the structure set up. I understand that if society wasn't set up the way it was, then it would put the woman in a situation to where the woman would have to then create. It's just that because society set up the way it is, it makes a woman based on how the role of the woman was back in those times. They didn't have the reason to create anything. But if you put now that education and things like that are more open, you have more women creating. So
I think your presupposition is incorrect on this as far as create, right? You said that women are the creators of life. Women aren't the creators of life. Men hold the seed of life. Women just bring about life. Does that make sense to you or no?
so you're saying that men are the creators of life, women just bring about life.
Yes.
You know what? I have a different aspect of like religion and things like that. But I do have like that list.
But I don't got to speak about religion. I can speak about it just biologically, right? So let's think about it
Well,
biologically
the
and
only
let's
thing that a sperm
take
does is create a spark that activates the egg. So
Okay, well, let's just think about it biologically, right? Let's just take religion and everything. Let's strip it all the way down to its pure level. Men, we are physically stronger than women. With that being said, this means that we have the ability of force. We wield the enforcement mechanism, meaning what we can force, then it will be. I repeat, what we can force, it will be. Now,
But that
men,
does not mean it will end up in a pregnancy, though.
let me finish.
Okay, sorry.
What
I ain't gotta let you finish because that was crazy. Anyways, so here we go. So
But he's right. But unfortunately, he's right. And he's telling y'all a truth that if women do not hurry up and heed, you will be at the mercy of men like him who know that, use that, wield that over your head. And not saying that him in particular, but yeah, that's Mr. That's Mr. from the color purple. That's Mr. And that's Harpo.
Harpo told you to beat me. That is Mister. That is Mister. Right.
That's Mr. We know Mr. We know him. And you know what? There were women that Mr. didn't mess with.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. didn't mess with Suge.
Didn't mess with the sister. Mister didn't mess with the sister, but he
Who
fooled
did he mess with?
the weaker one.
The weakest ones.
Mm.
But there came a time when she finally snapped. She snapped she snapped when she found them letters.
Right. For by her children, like her kids, right?
About her what?
By her children.
When she
She said,
got
"Oh no,
serious when she
by
got
her
serious
kids."
about her relatives, what came her legacy. See,
Mhm.
this is where some stuff about to get really messed up. Because when a man says, what your body, my choice, oh really?
Oh, and then
So
they'll say, "Oh, you shouldn't date a woman with kids, right?" Oh, that's what Anton Daniels will think. Don't
that
date.
dude that was you just showed has a whole uh woman who has kids, and she was a single mom and he took her, and now they have two kids, so y'all better watch who you take. See, and this is why I chose my teacher. It's a man whose word matches what he does.
Right.
So
So he's on this thing like getting everybody like to believe in what he's saying. Oh no, don't single mothers screw them and blah blah blah. But then he's dating a white woman and impregnating her and having more children. Like and they're on like their like fifth. I
yeah,
think they had like three children. Like they had one and they had another one. Like damn, you're on like about seven kids. Like coming up.
so what'd he say? Right, okay, yeah.
Exactly. So y'all, like shouts out to Cooley, but no, not shouts out. So at the same time, you know, right. So what do you think about a person like an Anton Daniels who's been married for a certain amount of time, and he's saying the same thing? Well, you shouldn't be dating a married woman. This, that, the other. Don't date like not a married, a woman, a single mother.
Good. Okay, no problem. See, people think of it as a negative. Let me tell you how I look at this. One of the number one markers for child abuse is a step parent.
Oh wow.
Some man you bring into your children's lives, because they're always telling us that ooh, we're getting the echo. That they don't want other people, they don't want to raise other men's children. So they ain't got no love. They have no love for your outside children. As a mother, I take that into real consideration. If I'm going to protect my children's psyche, maybe as a single mom, and this is going to sound real harsh, and I know, ladies, I know it's going to sound real harsh, but when the wolves tell you exactly what their tactics are, it is up to you now to protect your pups. I'm sorry, sisters. Maybe as single mothers, we should take ourselves off of the market and strictly raise our children so they're not in a position of not being loved by
That's true.
somebody who's supposed to love them. I'm sorry.
Do you think that speaks very much about the male psyche and how they see other children that are
Sure
not theirs?
does.
Like look at them like in a weird way, like something to be abused or like in a sexual way. Like, because I'm like,
Sure does. Sure does. And
why else would they even say that? Because yeah, they're that's a warning. That's not like a. It's not necessarily like a leg up for men. It's really a warning to women to say, you know what, watch out. And you know what, good point. Watch out. You got
watch
like
out.
some young kids. You don't want to have that around anybody. And you know how many times you see these murders happening of this man got brought into the house with their and then she ends up leaving home to go work because I don't know why this guy's watching the child while she's working. That's crazy to me.
Because he set her up from the beginning. And we as women are so awestruck with love and wanting affection and wanting somebody to tell us and validate us that we're okay, that we become prey through the honeypot. Because of course we want to be wanted. Yeah, we do. That is a basic human function. But when I understand that I live in a world where there are men who say, as soon as she gets her menses, it is okay to bed this child. I got my menses at 10. If you believe in your heart that it is okay to bed a 10-year-old, you are not the type of man that I need to be around at all. That baby's body isn't even finished growing. That's what puberty is for. Puberty does not signal what they think it signals. It signals that there is a change that is about to take place, and that change takes up to 10 years. The human brain does not finish growing until 25. But you okay with a child that has only been around the sun 10 times to take on a woman's responsibility that you won't take on at 35? I got a problem with that. But I also have a problem with women who cannot protect their own lives, who are not productive in their own lives enough to live their own life. that they would rather stay under the tyranny of violence than to learn to protect themselves and live on their own if needed. That's not a him problem. That's an us problem.
So recently we had a lady named Maura Lex on my channel, and she actually she got overwhelmed, with everything with life, and she decided, listen, it's too much for me, and she decided to take her child to CPS, because it was just too much on her. What do you think about a situation like that?
Better than that, better. It's an alternative. It's a shame that she didn't have a family member that she could take that child to. But again, black women are overwhelmed. I can't be mad. I can't be. I don't know that baby's situation. I don't know that sister's situation. But I know there are women who are fit. There was a time that I was watching my mama's hair come out because she was so overwhelmed. Two kids, two jobs, car problems. The money she put in the car, she can't put on rent, but she gotta pay rent. I don't know how my mama paid rent. I don't care, but I know this. Every time I came into the house, my key worked. Every time I hit the light, it worked. And as a woman who also raised two children, now mind you, I didn't do it by myself. But I know some mamas that have done some strange things for some change because she gotta make it happen. She gotta make it happen. Her babies are dependent on her. And like Malcolm said, I know some sisters that get it out by any means necessary.
So I want to show you a video, and I want to get your opinion on what you think about this, how this came out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh,
You see what I'm saying? When I hear a mom say, I'm struggling, I'm going through this, I don't have a house, I got bad transportation, I'm going through all of this. The one thing I'm not expecting is a manicure like that.
Mhm.
Manicure like that, because you know why? She's stacking every dollar that she has to do. And that's not your focus.
Mhm.
You're talking about going to a strip club tonight.
Multiple streams of income, no matter how it
This
comes.
isn't about multiple streams of income. This is a dangerous fucking time in the world.
Yeah.
Sis, hey, listen to me. I know people. I know the niggas that work the parking lot. I know what go on there. Oh, what go on there. You ain't getting back to your working there, I can tell you that. And them niggas love robbing girls.
I hope they like dying too. Hope they like dying too. Not saying it can't happen.
Once again, if that goes bad for you, this is Dallas County, and Dallas County is hella hard on bitches. Matter of fact, they're harder on bitches than they are on fucking dudes. Real story. When I was over there, Lou Stera locked up on my child case. Oh yeah, I was charged with child abduction, even though I had legal custody of my son. My ex-husband wanted to trap me up in the system.
It sounds like Jaguar, right?
it is.
And there was a wife in there. She had a beautiful son. He was 9 years old.
Who is this?
She going with the babysitter.
That's the woman that gave her son's
started
kids up to
schooling when she was
CPS.
14. They carried on for 2.5, almost 3 years. She caught the text message in the middle of the night, saw the girl sexted and talking about meet me in the garage. I'm in the back seat of your car. She, what the
That's not gonna help nothing.
No, wait a minute. She went to the parents and said, this is what your daughter was doing. These are the text messages. Keep that girl away from my husband. As she went home. Well, the daughter was getting slut shamed by the family. So then she says that not only was the husband raping her, that the wife was in on it the whole time. Not true.
I mean, if you call the cops right then and there.
They both got charged. Wait a minute. They both got charged. They was both in there, right? Dallas was pressuring her to divorce him. They would give her a deal and give her probation. If she divorced him, she said she didn't want the state deciding the fate of her marriage. She thought that was between her and her husband and her son, and they were going to deal with it when she got out. She was really still trying to hold strong. Up until that day, I was sitting there with her, and she got the paperwork that her husband took the deal, and Dallas was going full ride on her. That pussy got 4 years, and he already had a year and a half of good time. She had to do the 15 because her husband cheated on her with an underage girl who was the babysitter of her only child. Like I said, she gets fucked up all the time. You know how many girls I know thought that they was going pop pop because it was supposed to be in this, that, and this, that, and if they don't like this, that, so they're gonna make sure you're a good number this year.
Yeah, I am.
Not everyone is.
I'm very much a mother.
Not everyone is, and there's nothing.
I can't speak for everybody else, but I know I'm very much a mother.
Listen to me. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hold on, I'm gonna take a break. 1 second. I'm gonna just take a small break. I'm gonna hear you out, but I'm gonna smoke too.
All right, well, I smoke too, but I need you to understand. This isn't me judging you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm hearing everything. Some shit you are telling me I need to hear.
I was raised by a mother who I loved, and she grew up in hell.
Yeah.
She was molested more times, sexually assaulted more times than anybody could possibly imagine by her mother's man, and her mother never left. That very same man took my grandmother's life. I never even met her. Okay? So I understand. And guess what? I got raised by what got left behind from that shit. My mother was absent. She couldn't be a mom. She was a victim, a lifelong victim. Never got proper counseling. Who was constantly going through depression after depression, shopping spree after shopping spree, lying spree after lying spree, $400 phone bill, $500 phone bill, lots of ice cream. Never. My mother was a school teacher. She never did homework with me.
So there's more to that whole thing, but I want to get your opinion on that whole situation. For some reason, she was brought in to give some advice to Amora. Now, by that time, she had gotten her kids back. That's what they didn't know. And she has her children back now.
Good.
What are your thoughts on that?
What would we have rather her do? Become a family annihilator? Do what Aya did. Leave the kids and go to Nature Boy somewhere. Come. At least she put them somewhere where, and I can't even say safe. And I can't even say safe and be okay with saying that. She put them into care. And she redeemed herself by getting them back. That's what I can say. Bravo, mommy. Bravo. She needed a breath. Okay.
But what do you think about us as older women when we talk to these people and how we can kind of make it about ourselves? You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to, say, hey, because then it became you're not a mother. You're not, and then she had the other mothers raise their hand. I'm a mother. It just got really crazy. I was like, well, why are you doing that? She's a 23-year-old woman, or 20. I think she's 26 now, with 6 kids. You know what I'm saying? And of course she got overwhelmed. That's not abnormal. Why as older? So I want to really address the older woman versus younger woman dynamic that happens in our community, and why do we do that? I wouldn't do that. I was trying to help her. Come on now, that's no. But what is it that makes women do that? Why do we forget? Why do we forget that we were once mothers?
I don't think we forget. I don't think people forget. I think they idealize the results. They idealize the results because, again, what's the result of Jaguar's mothering? And nobody has to say it out loud. It's a matter of record. So what?
Yeah, and let me tell you something. A lot of people. Let me give you an example. Okay, a lot of times, like the older woman, might have a young girl that gets pregnant, and then they begin to battle their child to take over and become the guardian for their children because they don't feel like the younger mother is doing the best for the child. So they begin to fight their own child to kind of take control over the situation, and then it becomes a situation where what I'm saying. What do you think about that? Are you aware about that, like that type of thing happening, where it's like a battle that happens with the older women versus younger women, and we begin to look down on how they're doing it, like we had it all together?
Okay, I'm gonna put it this way. Let me center myself in this answer, and I want you to know I'm centering myself. My eldest son and my mom had gone out somewhere, and my eldest son had acted up a little bit, and my mama, she put her hands on him. And when they got home, my son told me what happened, and I looked at my mama and I was like, Mama, you can't be hitting him in public like that. And she like, why? I did it to you. I did it to you. That's how I raised you. And you came out all right. I was like, see, no, that's not why I said that. I said that because you let the right person see you putting your hands on this child, they gonna call the police on you. That is more likely to happen, and you gonna go to jail. You just need the right bleeding heart to see you do it and think that you have gone overboard by putting your hands on him. Now, was what he did hands on a bull? I don't know. I left that to my mama's discretion. I was trying to keep my mama out of jail. Sometimes it's on that level. Sometimes it's about what you can get away with now versus what they could get away with then, because societal norms change. You know, I remember when you could breastfeed discreetly in public and nobody looky loos you. Now I see these mothers trying to breastfeed in public and they're being harassed. Times have changed. And sometimes more mature mothers don't know that versus new mothers that do. But there's always supposed to be this exchange between the two generations. There should always be an exchange.
And I'm glad Angela Reddick said what she said, out mothering each other. I'm a better mother than you, and I'm gonna make you feel lesser than, and so therefore you aren't a good mother. I'm a good mother, and it's like that is to me like that's something that happens so much in our society. And when we talk about the divine feminine, right? I'm really
Mhm.
trying to like show like the holes in the divine feminine. You know what I'm saying? There's certain aspects of the divine feminine that need to be fixed. Okay. So you might have like the divine feminine mother that you would think that okay, she should be just backing her daughter up, but instead they don't back her up. They try to take over. They try to outdo, or they try to squash down and take control over and whatever. So let's talk about that.
Again, personal development. Personal development. Let me tell you something. When my sons left my house, the only thing I do, if they ask a question, that's when I give advice. Because again, anything beyond advice is manipulation. See how that fits in there again?
Yep, exactly.
That's
So
how I feel.
say if one of your sons, the baby mama is not doing everything the way you should, but you're babysitting the granddaughter, and then you start seeing that she ain't doing, would you like step in and try to take in and take over and become moving in and try to like to get custody of the child or work with your son? Would you do that, or would you say, you know what, that's between me and my her, your, you her, you and my son?
Well, I I I would talk to her. I, I would talk to her. Maybe she has a reason. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she doesn't. Out of she. Maybe she's it with only within her scope of knowledge. I'm one to give a book. I'll throw a book somebody's way in a minute. Here, read this. If books aren't your thing, movies, okay, watch this. Let's watch it. What happened to dialogue? We can dialogue.
So, do you believe that women can be unforgiving when it really comes down to other women? Do you think that we're harder on other women than men, so to speak? We are very
And
hard.
we should be. And we should be. We're the first teacher. Teachers should be hard on one another. That's the only way to uh, excel the species. If the mothers aren't talking, then what are we doing here? Because if we're not talking, how are we passing survival information on to the next generation that we learn? In a minute, canning is going to become very, very important. Very important. And if you don't know how to can, you're going to be paying an exorbitant amount for produce and vegetation in a minute. And canning is an old art. It ain't a new one, it's an old one. But we're so used to having access to a grocery store that we've forgotten how to survive long periods of time without access to convenience. Let me add it that way.
So you have people like Princella that feels like the women should come together and create like a unity and this, that, the other. So where do you feel that movement is lacking? Because at one point it was actually going good, right? So what do you think that happened in that situation that made it like get weak? Because now it's not as strong.
You want an honest answer, or do you want a politically correct answer? No.
No, this is not the politically correct channel. So go ahead.
Emotion. We're under the impression that we have to like each other to work together. We don't have to like each other to work together. But until we as women can get over that emotional hurdle, we will be much better off in being able to communicate more easily with one another without hyperbole or pretense. I mean, I'll be honest. If I've had to work with a whole bunch of people I don't
Hell, you
personally
didn't
know.
like me for a second. Sure,
See?
honey, you done said all type of wild stuff about my ass, like
DJ such and such.
But you know what? I'm able to get past that. That might be my testosterone coursing through my body. I don't care about that type of shit. I'm like, okay, so what do you have to say though? Out of everything that you got to say, all that shit don't matter. What do you really have to say about life in general, and what's going to help other people? I don't care about me and what you have to say about me because listen. I'm just a small cog in the wheel. I'm not. I'm just another brick in the wall. You know what I'm saying? However, if you have a message or something you can give to other people that's going to help them, I don't care about what you have to say about me. That's my thing.
But I was honest. Was I not? Was I not honest? I
You was
didn't back
honest.
down behind what I said. I told you
Now I'm
exactly
kind of
what I
mad that he
said.
said that I deserve to be robbed and stuff, but that was okay. That's okay.
Excuse me, ma'am. You let them in your house. You let them in your house. You saw it going south. You heard it going south. You could have stopped that before it started, but you wanted to be nice. You wanted you wanted to be accommodating. And in your ability to be accommodating, you got. You could have stopped that at any point. You deserved it.
You know what? Yeah, I have to admit I'm right, but I didn't deserve it. But I'm gonna say that you know what you're right about that. I could have like stopped it and whatever. You know what? I deserved it to the point where I need to learn a lesson of not doing that again. So I deserved it to that point. But you're right.
Did
Okay,
you learn the lesson?
I did. Yeah.
Amen.
So I have to like be honest about that. Okay, you that was right. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what I'm saying?
What do I constantly talk about? Women being able to protect what is theirs. You left that door open and the predator took your shit. Oh, simply.
Yeah.
You should have closed the trap. You should have for the sake of everything that is you. You should have protected you and your children's stuff.
Right.
If nothing else, you protect your legacy.
Well, so what do you think is the issue with us when it comes to being too nice with women? What do you think is the problem?
Say again.
Being too nice. What do you think is the issue with that? And let me say this is that we are not going to be going too deep into the Mike Tyson fight. We don't discuss that, but we're not going to go past the Mike Tyson the 720. So at before we get too close to 8 when that happens, I want to see what's going to happen. But I just want to let people know that's watching. We're not going to go past that. So but yeah, so being too nice. Why do you think that women are too nice? Why do you think that we have that aspect of us trying to be too nice?
Because that's the self-defense mechanism given to females to accommodate. If you accommodate, you can survive. If you smile and do not appear to be a threat, you can survive. When someone is threatening you, when yang goes up, yin goes down. That is how yin survives yang. It is a survival mechanism.
So what happens when Jan begins to start bitching and complaining, and then everybody's like, she just complaining all the time, and she just doing this, da 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 da, and you woo, woo, woo. So then is that even better? Like when Yin gets to like bitching and complaining, is that the better thing to do, or what do you think?
You'd have to know your yang. All yang does not respond in the same way. I mean, do you have a yang that's okay within the realm of yang? Do you have a yang yang or do you have a yin yang? A yin yang is a man that is balanced on both sides of his male and female nature. A yang yang is a man that is a man that will burn down his own house for the sake of his own ego.
So how do you know if you have a Yan Yan or a Yin Yang?
Response, how they respond. Again, a man that is balanced within himself will show a balanced nature outside of himself. Who are these men? These are the men that are the fathers to the fatherless children. These are the men that show up to Sister Dorothy's house to mow her lawn and he didn't ask her. These are the men that see to the village without being asked to do so because he already perceives the need.
So, do you think that most men are yan yan, or that most men raised by women are yan yan?
It has absolutely nothing to do with who raised them. Yang yangs are the thing. Yang yang is the thing now. It is fashionable to be an out of control male, to be an overly aggressive male, to be a domineering male. That's the fashion now. And they call these men who have balanced their male and female aspects simps because they want to take care of the village. Since when was the simp the one that wanted to take care of the village? I thought that was the true king.
What about the alpha male? Is the alpha male similar to a yan yan, or what is the alpha male in your eyes?
That's psychological babble that makes people feel good because even the man that came up with the scale spent the rest of his life telling y'all he messed that up. Oops.
Oh, so the guy that made the whole thing about the alpha male messed up that whole. So when guys say I'm an alpha male, they're really going on some like pseudoscience. Really.
It's not even pseudoscience. Again, the man that came up with it denounced it. So it's not even pseudoscience. It gets thrown in the trash. It is a talking point. It is rhetoric. It is rhetoric. And for all the people on my page, we know that rhetoric is the second noble art or liberal art, however you want to put it. But when you master rhetoric and you hear, I'm an alpha male, I'm a sigma, what? That don't even count. You didn't finish reading. You didn't finish that. It's kind of like when people don't read the full Bible or the full Quran or the full Torah.
Right. So these people are considered themselves alpha male, but didn't even understand that the actual person actually denounced all he was saying, and they're just ignoring the fact that he denounced it and said, you know what, we're still gonna like use this rhetoric and say, well, no, I'm an alpha male and so the alpha. So what I'm noticing now is like, okay, so when men lead, women follow. Men lead, women follow. Okay, let me I'm gonna show you. Man, this whew.
I don't follow just because he's male. You can ask anybody. Ask my teacher. Ask my teacher. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Men lead, women follow. Hold on, I'm gonna find the thing because I was talking about AI to this guy, and then he loves like he had to bring it somehow. He has to always bring it back to male and female. You know, the no fugazi guy. You know what I'm saying? It has to always end up being a conversation about men and male and female. And because what happened is I talked about the um that after a while, like people they're going to like get into like this whole transhumanism aspect, and so let me find this. I think it's right here. All right, so here's a I'm gonna find all right, here we go. So because he gets into men lead, women follow. Here we go.
talking about things that aren't related to politics or dating and relationships. So
But
cool.
it is related
Thanks
to
for the convo.
politics. Hold on, let me say this.
Okay, it is. Well,
Let me tell you
from
how,
a macro level, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
micro level. Let me
micro level too. Oh, okay, go ahead.
so y'all are complaining about women and then bump this. Y'all don't like you wouldn't do this, do this, do this. Now you
Uh-huh.
have more men when these robots come out trying to date robots. That's gonna be one.
Well, yeah.
Have
Okay,
number
that's what you're
two,
saying.
you're gonna have like, even with politics and things like that. These robots and everything's gonna control. So pretty
Government and stuff like that.
yeah, and they're
Yeah,
all
yeah. If we're pushing it out, I see what you're saying. If we're pushing it out that far,
your podcast and how you be like, I mean, you don't even realize you're feeding into a narrative that someday you're actually feeding into a narrative of what's
Mhm.
it called the transhumanism. You don't even realize that you yourself are feeding into a transhumanism.
transhumanism. Explain that again. I didn't catch that. How am I feeding into transhumanism? I know what transhumanism is, but explain it.
It's because like as humans, like
Okay.
when we begin to like just like kind of start to like separate from ourselves, right? And we begin
I know what transhumanism is, but explain how the conversations about dating and relationships and the things that I speak about is actually going into transhumanism. That's what you stated, right?
While, if we just start to have disdain for each other and stop procreating, and we say, okay, well, I'd rather just sit on my computer and just talk to this robot.
Well, no, that's what I'm against.
Well, if you're against it, then what
Yeah,
are
we're
we going
against
to? Okay,
Yeah, so I'm against transhumanism. I'm for nuclear family, men and women having great relationships. We are better together than we are apart. I understand what you're talking about.
first of all, the nuclear family is bullshit. But okay, let's continue. I'm sorry, nuclear family is a bunch of bullshit. I'm sorry.
And yeah, that is a transhumanism agenda when it comes to AI, where it's already happened. I would grant you this. Instagram itself and these dating apps and everything is already the start of some transhumanism type of stuff, and even pornography and stuff like that. Just because men can get the same dopamine, they could get a dopamine hit from watching some porn, and women get that same dopamine hit from that men watch porn from getting likes on Instagram. So we're all looking for instant gratification via some type of technology source. So I do get that.
All they gonna need is to be able to plug one of them pocket coochies up to like the thing on the computer and then have their little buddy on the computer.
Well, yeah,
plug that up and we get it in. My thing is that like if we keep talking like in like a way that we are like separate and like, oh well, you need to be like this. I don't like it. Well, this conversation where everybody's like, you're a simp, and don't you believe that is kind of gonna feed like okay?
No, it doesn't cause a divide.
Actually, do you agree with Myron Gaines?
Wait, what about Myron Gaines?
Do you agree with him? Like how his
on what?
Like all these bad talking points about women and women suck and da da da. Because I'm like, okay.
Tell me a bad talking point Myron Gaines said. Just give me one of them. If you want, if you have a clip, I could pull it up. We'll see if it's bad.
I should have prepared for this conversation the way I do. You know what?
It's okay. I could give you a moment.
I'm gonna come back. Listen, I didn't have it right then. Myron Gaines is pushing a lot of. I'm gonna say this, and I know you're a Muslim, but I'm gonna say he pushes a lot of Islamic rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? Like that super duper over the top Islamic Sudanese Islamic rhetoric, and so that's why I feel like that Myron Gaines is like not a person to be listening to, but he's all because I was not prepared, but I was really trying to hit on the AI, but when I come back, I'm going to have all that stuff.
All right, have it prepared. Have the stuff prepared for Myron Gaines that you stated, and he has bad talking points. I'll tell you this, right? In regards to this podcast here on No Fugazi, we speak about male and female intersexual dynamics, right? Meaning that men and women aren't the same, but we are better together than we are apart, right? Okay. With that being said, there's going to be conversations that can be taken out of context if you don't get the full convo, if you just look at the clip instead of watching the full episode. Men lead, women follow. That's just the facts. If it switches, that's when it gets into transhumanism. I'll repeat. If it switches and women are leading and men are following, that's when it gets into transhumanism. Because then, okay, women are leading.
It's like, what the hell?
Women, generally speaking, they don't want a man. They don't want a man that's docile, that's weak, and that they can boss around. They want a leader. Generally speaking, they want someone that they can rely on, someone that they can give some guidance. They want a man that's competent. They want, think about it. They want a man that's better than them in usually all regards. Do you really want a man that's just like you, or you want him better than you so you could be in love with that nigga? Like, are you really gonna respect him and admire him if he's just like you or below you?
Yeah, of course not.
Okay, so think about it. But guess what? We will. This is why men lead. I will. You won't do it. You can't respect someone beneath you, but I can respect and love someone beneath me.
Guys that were beneath me, however, this just didn't turn out right, so that made me.
But that's what I'm saying.
But you're not the so-called. Hold on, man. What the hell? See, okay, he supposed to be the leader, but I'm a leader. I'm at the top, and I'll date people beneath me, but I'm at the top. So that makes me at the top. And so because I date people beneath me, that makes me. So that's that. Man, you don't get the. Woo, like, oh man, that shit. So, if you have a man that's beneath you, then it's not a good thing. So it's not that I haven't even tried to do that. I have, and
it ain't really work. It wasn't a good thing. And we speak about here it comes from a biological standpoint. Women aren't built to lead. You don't even want to lead. So with that being said, since you
can't just draw that conclusion just because I said that I've dated that.
No, the conclusion that I've drawn was that from what you said that you want, you don't want a man that's like you or beneath you. You want a man that's like kind of doing better than you, maybe even a little bit smarter, maybe making some more money, maybe taller and stronger. You want him more competent. You know what I'm saying? You want a man that you can respect and admire. You just admitted that if he's maybe even on your level or beneath you, you really wouldn't respect him like that.
I would say this is that we each gender has its own lane. You know what I'm saying? One lane.
Correct, gender roles.
Beneath or lesser than. Now hold on. Now he said a man that's taller than you, this, that, this. Now watch how he come later on and try to say that I said I want a man that's taller than me. I've dated shorter dudes than me, so okay, the other. You know what I'm saying? So
well, it depends on if you look at beneath. I'm not saying beneath as lesser.
Beneath is lesser.
No, I'm not. But that's not the standpoint I'm saying. Right. What I'm saying in regards to like a woman isn't lesser than a man because the man needs the woman to bring forth his legacy. So is she really lesser? No, she ain't really lesser. But then there's other areas where if
you're gonna say beneath, a woman wants a person above or beneath her. Bottom line is, I would want a person that is on my same level in his what I would say.
But Genesis, and the things that matter to you, the leadership.
If a person that was above me, right? Let me just correct this, okay? So I am what you would call a BBW. I'm an overweight woman, right? A man that would be above me probably would not feel like I was adequate, right? So I would want a person at my level that would appreciate me at my level. But if I try to date outside of that, then it's not going to work out.
Okay, I see. Well, your standards is a little bit. Oh, I understand.
I mean, say, well, you need to do, try to like, but my thing, but if you have the right partner, then they bring you up, but it's not like a thing where they're looking down on you. I don't want to be with someone that's going to look down.
I got it. Yeah, that's not the point that I'm making. So
abusive relationships start out when one person looks down on the other.
Oh, now you're saying abusive.
It becomes abusive. Like if I look down on my partner, I'm going to become abusive to that.
Got it, Genesis. So listen to me real quick. Listen to understand, not to respond. So don't get triggered by the things that I'm saying, because you got triggered one time when I said that, you want a man to lead, you want a man above you, stuff like that. So
now see how condescending that shit is. I did not get triggered. I just was responding to what he was saying, and so in his mind I got triggered.
Just listen to understand of what I'm saying. I'm going to break it down for you. You admitted that you want a man that's either that's not on your level. I said that would you respect a man and admire a man if he's like on your level or beneath you? Could you really respect them? And I'm speaking about certain specific things. And I said that competence, I said strength, I said height, I said the finances. I did say all of these things. I said I'm be taller, stronger. I did say these things.
Hold on, if he's on my level, yeah, cool. But lower than that, no, I wouldn't want someone.
Well, think about that, right? So, but we're speaking about leadership.
On my level does not mean physically, more mentally than physically.
So now we're getting somewhere. Let's just speak about your level, because I would say that, quite frankly, you're a woman that you understand standards. You understand that you're not going to shoot your shot with, an athlete, or shoot your shot with a dude that's really out there getting it because you wouldn't qualify. And I respect that you understand your value and that you understand the type of men that you can get. So with that being said, I'm saying that men lead.
Get them, but I mean, the how I can get them probably would not be that long.
Okay, yeah, you could get them recreational use only. Yeah, I know they can.
I will be able to get them like, but it ain't gonna be like get them.
It ain't gonna be long term. It's gonna be short term. Yeah. So Genesis, this is what I'm saying, right? So let's just think about it. I said that men lead, women follow. The reason why men lead and women follow is because that you won't accept the man that's beneath you, and guess what? No woman would. But guess what? I will in those regards. I'll accept the woman that's shorter than me. I'll accept the woman that's weaker than me. I'll accept the woman that's less competent than me. I'll accept the woman that's making less money than me. And guess what? I'll still love her and cherish her. You know what I'm saying? I'll still take a bullet for that woman. I'm in a relationship. That's my girl now. Still take a bullet for that woman. That woman is giving me kids.
Hold on. But would you cheat on her though?
No, that woman is giving me kids. Life is great. So this is what I'm saying, right? Men lead women.
You're talking about that white woman that he has children with right now. His white woman. So,
Why are we
anyways,
doing this? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this?
I just wanted to show that conversation. So I want to get your opinion on it.
You better than me. You're better than me. You better than me. That's all I can say. You're better than me.
But I want you to expound upon that. I want you to expound upon that conversation. I know even if you got something to say, even about what I said, it's not just about like you critiquing what he said. You could say, listen, why would you? You know, I'm like, listen, just go ahead, go up and through it.
Why would you absorb that type of abuse?
You think it was abuse?
Yes. 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 Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Even when abuse comes with a smile, it's still abuse. It's even worse than abuse at that point because now they just playing in your face. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. In my world, in my world, that was so much disrespect.
What he said, what I said, what he said, both on both ends, or just either, just period.
It was a disrespectful conversation all the way around.
So correct it.
Because again, I mean, what say you that you are a woman that knows your value? He, ha ha. I was overweight when my husband met me. When I went into range for fighting, he was mad because he liked it cushy. And as soon as I stopped fighting, I went right back to cushy and he was in love. What? Over 6 feet, six figures. This is why the totalitarianism of the speech is crazy. No man would want you. Men want all men want something different. All men want something different. He doesn't speak for all men. If that was the case, it wouldn't be such things as chubby chasers. And if we can be honest,
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't want to say nothing, but I was like, bro, like you have no idea. I don't have no problem in my DMs or no EMs or DMs or BMs in the PM with dudes trying to holler at me. If I'm just like just choosing not to do it, you know what I'm saying? But trust me, if I actually was on like some old wild stuff trying to get it in with all these dudes, I would have a whole laundry bag of dudes trying to like get with me. Trust me.
I can get a man faster than I can get a pork chop sandwich.
A pork chop sandwich. I
So
don't know
again,
why they be like saying like the think that okay, you
somebody hurt that man. Somebody hurt that man. And somebody needs to draw him a little person chart and point to the place that he got hurt. So we can try to make it better. But once again, this makes his money. He has to keep these talking points. He can't grow up past this because it makes him money. He don't want us. His results tell us he doesn't want us. So it makes sense that he would downplay the black woman and all of her plight. Look at his results. And that's not me saying anything. That's me looking at the freaking result. I
And he,
believe
and for some reason, people like that love to debate black women. I don't know. It's almost like they're so and so get hard when they see a black woman come up on that back channel. They be so quick to bring them up and let's have a debate, and then try to down them and try to So I'm trying to understand. Like I'm like, okay, all right, but you're
it's
right.
it's the formula. It's the formula. And right now, people do it for clicks and views. People do it to keep you engaged. They got to keep you watching. The goody goody stuff, look, the goody goody stuff does not get views. The community gardens don't get views. Ask me how I know.
Mm.
The Tai Chi classes, that doesn't get views. What gets views is couples talking about one another, couples airing each other out, the debauchery of the human freaking experience. That's what gets views. There is a science to this, there is an economy to this. The emotional mining of the black woman is a $1 billion industry. Don't we know it?
So the Paul says in Abrahamic faith, the religions that tell women how to dress, especially a woman's value is what men say her value is.
Oh, okay.
And so outside the cube says, why do y'all always feel so attacked? I'm gonna play another video. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Why do we feeling so? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let's see. How do we feel?
Embody logical thinking, meaning you think first before you let emotions fog your judgment, right? You are a linear thinker. You are a tactical thinker. You are a deductive problem solver. You are assertive. Now, compassion, patience, those are things that all human beings need to have.
Can I speak now?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, because you like went on a little tangent there, but
well, I was asking you questions so I can get information, and then I gave you a rebuttal.
Okay, your rebuttal seemed like a little tangent that was a little emotional driven.
No, well, passion, that's what it was, but a tangent is when it's scattered, right? Mine was very right to the point.
What, Brother Fugazi? Is that what that is? Is that your name?
No, that's not my name.
What's your name, baby?
Cooley.
Cooley. Nice to meet you, Cooley.
You don't know you on my podcast. You don't know my name? You ain't do research? What?
Well, actually,
this is why you can't be a leader.
Listen,
I would never go on someone else's stream and not know their name. Prime example.
Listen,
go ahead.
Cooley. Compassion, yes, is a very good trait for a leader because if you're compassionate, you put yourself in somebody else's shoes. So therefore, you're not rushing judgment. 2, having a nurturing mindset does not make you want to destroy another person, which you seem to feel like a good leader needs to be able to destroy something.
No, that's not what I said. So you use compassion before, right? So let's speak about compassion so we can understand it.
I'm going on all of the things that I said.
Okay, got it. So in regards to compassion, right? Let's take it point by point like we were doing before, right? Mm-hmm. So in regards to compassion, women are physically weaker than men. Do you agree to that truth or no?
Well, that's biologically. That's just
a biological fact. Okay, let's speak about it logically, right? If someone is physically stronger than someone else, I would argue that they're more likely to be compassionate.
But we see different in our society.
That is incorrect. That is incorrect.
I don't think it's incorrect. Domestic violence statistics don't think it's incorrect.
That is incorrect. Women hit men. Men just don't report it because we're compassionate. It's like, we're not going to call the police. These little hits didn't even hurt. I'm trying to tell you, men are more compassionate than women because we're physically stronger. You know that your sexuality can be taken from you and all women's sexuality can be taken from them.
And we don't
All of
talk
them.
about.
Let me finish real quick. Let me finish. All women on this planet, your sexuality, your virginity can be took from you by men. And guess what? The majority of women on this planet, it isn't taken from men. Men.
By the way, this was the same conversation that I. So this was this a woman that was on there earlier that he wanted to circle back around and have the conversation of it being took. So I don't know whether he wants to grape somebody or what. Like, bro, like, why are you saying it? Like, what is going on?
Aren't taking your vagina from you. Men go through the regular courting process. You know why? It's because men have compassion for the weak. We know that we are physically stronger than you, but we still court you. We don't have to court you. You think every time I was like, listen, let's go to the base root of things. I want to tell you something. Listen, Crown Goddess, I want to tell you something. You truly living in la la land. You thinking that all of these women are just, well, we have more compassion and you know, life is so good. Like, yeah, I wasn't raped when I was young. Now we know the cases, the small cases out of all the billions of people in the world. We know that there are small cases of bad men that do bad things. I'm not excusing that. Those people are idiots, right? They're bad. They should go to jail. Actually, more than jail. They deserve the death penalty if you are raping a woman. But those cases are the exception to the rule. The majority of women living in America aren't being raped, right? With that being said, men still are capable of taking everyone's virginity, every woman's virginity. Even the most smallest docile man can take a woman's virginity, meaning take it, not like she's going to give it up to him. He can physically take it without her authority, but men aren't doing that. So I'm telling you, we are physically stronger. We have compassion. If we didn't have compassion, it would be rape would be like prevalent. It would be a prevalent thing, meaning that it's happening every day, but it's not happening every day because we have compassion for you.
It is happening every day. I don't know what planet he's on. It is happening every day. I don't know where he's coming from with that. That's crazy. He's saying that it's not happening every day. I'm like, bro, go on, look on the go look at any jail thing. You're gonna see like that there's people that are doing it every day, like sir. Maybe because everybody is not doing it. All the men in the world are not doing that. It means so. Do you believe that's true? That the reason that men have compassion and that's the reason why they don't grap.
I don't speak in those type of generalities.
So
Some
so
men
why?
don't do it. Some men don't do it because they think they're gonna get caught. Some men don't do it because they know it's happened to a relative. Some men don't do it because they just understand the psychological implications. Some men don't have the capacity. It's so across the board on why people don't do a thing that they can do. It's crazy. Why don't women? Because women do, but why don't the majority of women? What is going to be a different answer?
It's because women are weaker than men and can't do it.
Are they? Let these gentlemen tell it who have been sexually violated by women. It doesn't have to Grape doesn't have to be violent to be great. There is a such thing as grape by consent. And that's something that men and women need to know as well, because that's how the boys club gets started when boys start having sex early, with these older women. Boys look at it as a badge of honor. He's 13 having an encounter with a 25-year-old. His teacher, his reading coach, his mentor at school. Underage is underage across the board. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. That's not a badge of honor, sir. You were taken advantage of. But to see it in that way would take away this idea of masculinity. Can we talk about that?
So when it really comes down to it, there's a double standard. Um, so now you have this whole thing with P Diddy, um, where it's a combination of that happening with celebrities, in the whole like hip hop world and the whole thing, which people have been getting told is happening. But what is your ideas on that?
Oh, Diddy?
No, it's not just Diddy.
On that world?
Yes.
Man, people have been telling us about that world since the world became the world itself that it came in. What's new? What's new? The entertainment world has always been filled with debauchery. I mean, frick, do we not remember Tina Turner used to do that pony walk without her drawers on stage above people? Can we talk about how they got there? Come on, man. This has always been, it ain't never been nothing else. It's just that secrets get out, more secrets get out. You cross somebody, you get taken down. Some people think they can't be taken down. So, hey, man, maybe you just should have let the liquor deal go.
And what about the liquor deal? What about the what they call is the swinger community and the lifestyle? Because that's what I'm hearing. What I'm hearing is lifestyle. Because there's a whole thing, a community called the lifestyle community, where that stuff is that it is what it is. Like you're dealing in lifestyle, like you're dealing in. So there's a thing for those that don't know. There is a whole community called lifestyle. Now I actually interviewed a guy named Taurus Wells, and he actually was on Real Life Street Stars, and he was actually on my panel. He talked about the lifestyle community. So what it sounds like to me is they were having like regular lifestyle parties, but people started to tell the secrets of the lifestyle community. That's what it sounded like to me. So talk about the lifestyle.
I don't know, I'm not in it. I've
Oh,
never been
okay.
invited to a Diddy party. And even
It's not
either
a Diddy
way,
party. Like it's not a Diddy party. Lifestyle parties are sex parties, right? They have them in all around the country, right? He
look,
just happened to be hosting one, right? In
look,
these parties, they might be doing S&M, they might be doing like all type of different stuff. You know what I'm saying? Different people like to do different things. So it sounds like to me he's doing like a lifestyle event, right? But then people just begin to talk about the lifestyle parties. And also now where it gets weird is when you start involving the kids and all that weird stuff, all that part. But apart from that, it was a lifestyle party. So what do you think about that?
what float they boat don't sink my ship. I don't have any. I have absolutely nothing to say on how humans interact sexually with one another. Have at it. You will get your reward, or you will get your consequence. I don't speak on other people's that unless they put it in my face. You put it in my face, then I get to speak on it. But other than that,
Exactly.
I hope nobody had an STD.
Oh, trust me, the STDs got strains. You got the Diddy strain, the Jay Z strain, the Chris Brown strain, the the Usher strain. I've heard so many strains going around of the herpes simplex strains that I'm like, wow. So I mean, I hope that that's not true. Allegedly. So listen,
Hey man, understanding
listen.
that.
Listen. This has been a very interesting conversation. We've talked about a lot. The Mike Tyson fight gonna be starting in about 3 minutes,
Go, Mike, and we ain't going over that. You promise.
and we not. So go ahead, say your last words. What you say? I said.
Saw her live on YouTube.
You did. Okay.
Uh-huh. She's on live right here and on live on YouTube.
Okay. All right. I'll set sorry.
When you were looking down, you were looking at your AirPods.
All right. So I said had something to say to you. Okay. So go
Okay.
ahead and give your last words because we got like 2 minutes to end.
Sisters, learn to protect yourselves. That's across the board. Learn to protect yourself. Even if there's a man in your life, still learn to protect yourself, word and deed. Y'all know who this is. This is Master Fundi Fee. But hey, DJ such and such, take us on out of here.
Alchemize your energy. Darling, let your spirit be free. Don't give up, keep on pushing through. Now is the time, it's all up to you. Alchemize your energy, my friend. Let your spirit be free. Don't give up, keep on pushing through. Now is the time, it's all up to you. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, we will always take flight. Keep on pushing through the darkness of night. There's no limit, let's reach for the sky. Shine so bright from darkness to light.